both industries, are really, evolving and elevating. And it's great. What I'm happiest about for the PMU industry is, because that's really where I'm most involved. There was a time where I was kind of straddling both, and then just kind of organically ended up knee deep in PMU. Is that the overlapping of body tattoo philosophy, needles, machines into PMU? Because when I entered PMU, we were taught you cannot use a coil machine. You cannot move like that. You cannot use needles like that. What was being sold was $12,000 and $15,000 digital machines, and your needles were $25 a pop. And I was buying that, Stacey.
Why do you think it was?
I think it was that because I'm going to just be frank. We were a bunch of women, and we didn't know better. That's what was being taught, and it was probably being really pushed by the manufacturers of these digital machines. And if you're a distributor and you're making $600-700 a pop every time you sell a $12,000 machine, you're going to push that machine. I sell machines. If we get a 20% margin on a machine, or 30% maybe, that you're doing good. There's not a lot of margin on machines because the pricings now, you can get a great machine for $500-600. Some of them are $800-900, $1,200. But you can still get a great machine for $500 or $600, and so a distributor doesn't make $600 or $700 a pop. You're not making that margin on on the needles. So I think that's why it was so driven and so pushed in our faces to buy, and I think that's why they wanted to keep the body tattoo and PMU industry segregated and separate, because there was that army out there doing that at the time.
Okay, so I really want to know more about this. Can we just stay on this for a second? Because I was never into PMU.
Yeah.
But some people that I admire were, Mary Jane.
Yes, my mentor.
Was she your mentor?
Yes, she was one of my mentors.
Yeah,
yes.
Her and Vivine taught a class on mastectomy tattooing in 2006 at this Reno convention, the APT convention, or was it the national? Anyway, one of those. And I was like, my mom had been diagnosed with cancer, so I was like, oh, I didn't know at the time that I was going to lose my own breasts, but I was like, oh, what a great thing to use my skills for, and she was a game changer, but I couldn't see her doing something like that.
She did not.
No.
She did not. She was different, but she was not an outcast. She owns Dermal Source. So she had her in aesthetics. She was super innovative, super talented with scar. She used to have a retreat at her home in, I believe it was in Oregon, right? Portland, Oregon. She toured and, taught with the National Tattoo Convention. I took, I took a lip course from her, an areola course from her. I remember being so giddy and nervous around her because she was just my idol. Yeah. And she did body tattooing, and I would see her in, the magazines, and to finally meet her one day at a PMU convention, I was just blown over. I couldn't believe it was Mary Jane Hockey, like a few steps away. And I remember going up and, being kind of like, goofy, I'm like a big fan of it. And she barely said hi to me and brushed me off. And I'm like, oh my God, And then I met her I think the year later, and she complimented my hair. Yeah, my hair caught her attention that day. And we ended up having some conversations and speaking needles and techniques and whatnot. And there was a connection. And the following year I was doing a class in New Orleans, and she emailed me, want to buy a ticket. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
She took my first class too.
Yeah. Exciting, humbling, honoring, but at the same time, oh my God, I'm going to die. Yeah. Mary Jane Hockey's going to be in my class. Yeah. I'm going to die. Right? That's how I felt. But it was great. It went great. And we ended up being great friends and great mentor of mine. But yeah, so she wasn't a part of that push. She used a coil. She used tattoo machines. She had the tattoo philosophies. But when you're a voice of few, you know, the message isn't, you know, heard by many, you know, I mean, you know, and I was a little bit of an outcast when I first entered the industry. You know, I didn't have a product. I didn't have anything that, you know, wowed anybody. I was just tattooed and pierced and used coil, and they called it what's that thing that drills into the
jackhammer?
Yeah, they call it. Yeah, my first permanent makeup convention. Oh, you use a jackhammer. Oh, that's all. You get blood splatter. And because of that first encounter, I just stopped speaking about my tool, you know, my craft, my tools, my whatnot, because I felt, you know, I felt ostracized a little bit. And but then people started seeing my work. And then they got a little interested. Yeah. And students started just, hey, do you train? What's that? What do you mean? I started winging it. and you know, and things just went from there, Stacey. But yeah, so the industries definitely are going in the right direction and elevating it. It's an exciting time to be a part of both. And with that said, there's always, you know, the stuff that goes along with such great growth and great things that aren't so great, you know, but other than that, I'm still feel blessed to still be, you know, knee deep in PMU and doing what I love, man, you know, and I know you are too.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm super grateful to be able to keep it fresh. So I'm super grateful to, because I don't think, and I say this all the freaking time, I don't think any of us would be in an industry like this if we didn't like a challenge.
Right.
You know, like if we just kind of learned the thing and then we knew it and then it ended, we would pick something else to go after, you know? So I love how constantly challenged I am and humbled I am by this craft. Yeah, I'm just super grateful that there's still a place in it for me, you know. And then like I never thought I would ever come up with something that hadn't been done before, you know. I never thought that I was really an original thinker. I was just like, if I can learn how to do good solid tattoos, and I can have a good career just giving people good solid tattoos and prove that women can do good tattoos, because all the women that were tattooing in Canada were doing bunk tattoos at that time. There was nobody doing good tattoos, not like the guys were, not like the large scale pieces or anything in a magazine or anything.
Would you agree that women it was probably harder for a woman to get an apprenticeship? It was like a man's, it was dominated by men. It was probably harder. I remember 20 years ago, I was in a shop. I'm grateful I was in a shop with, you know, really nice men. But I did see some things, and and the girls had to work a little bit harder to earn their spots.
Much harder.
Yes.
I had to work my butt off. I just stopped myself from swearing there.
Yes.
Be proud of me. I had to work my butt off, like to even be seen. I had to be doing better drawings than the guys around me, you know? And then when they saw them, they're like, a chick did that? Oh yeah? A chick, hey? Oh. You know, Canada, eh? So, they're like, a chick did that. Huh, really? Yeah, it's not too bad, I guess. Meet this chick. Now, that was, there was like a novelty to me.
Right.
Where maybe they would have given it, but they had to see the artwork before they saw me.
Right.
If they saw me first, they would have probably discredited the artwork. Yeah.
But probably because, I don't know if you share the sentiment, like maybe back then it was annoying and maybe pissed us off a little bit. But I think that was a big part of what made us who we are today, right? Because we had to work so hard, much harder than anyone else, you know, to prove ourselves, to get a seat at the table and whatnot. So I'm actually ended up very grateful for, you know, those harder times. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
it's the hard times that shape and mold you into your, not the easy. If everything was easy, then,
Yeah.
we'd probably be doing everything half-ass.
Yeah, and they call it paying your dues. You're paying your dues, right?
Yeah.
I had somebody come up to me. I gave at Charlotte. Gave a seminar, and this lady, we're waiting. It was like every person before me was getting later and later. So all the people that were waiting for Michael were all standing out in the hallway, and this lady was like, "Oh, I wanted to get into body tattooing," and I'm like, "Well, why didn't you then?" She goes, "Well," she's like, "I thought it'd be easier this way." I'm like, it's not, it's not about being easy.
Right.
It's about learning what you need to learn to be good.
Yes.
And she said something flippant to me that I was just like, it threw me off my game. I didn't do a very good job on that seminar because it really kind of put me in my head a little bit too much. Plus, like the waiting a freaking hour out in the hallway with everybody. But she said, I'm not going to scrub toilets for 2 years. Okay. I was like, wow, that's an egotistical statement.
Yeah, right.
Go scrub a toilet, lady. Like, go learn something about what it takes to be dedicated to your craft. Like, it really kind of threw me. Like, she didn't get a good response.
Because back then, and I don't know what a body tattoo apprentice. I think they're run, fairly similar. You wanted an apprenticeship. You wanted a mentor's knowledge. You absolutely 1,000,000% earned it by cleaning the shop, scrubbing the toilets, running errands, photographing clients' licenses, making their needles, setting up their trays. And you never asked, ever, when do I get to do my first tattoo? They will let you know.
No, because that's like detention. You
That's
just get
detention.
Well, it's going to take another 6 months now.
And there's moments where you think, I'm doing all this work for free. Am I gonna, and then, and if you're lucky, and then you'll be presented the opportunity to do your first tattoo. But it's not like that in PMU. You can buy pretty much piece of paper, in 3 days, hang it on your wall, and now you're certified to tattue
And certified
eyebrows.
doesn't mean qualified. And
Absolutely.
a lot of people will get that certificate and they paid for it. They didn't earn it, and they don't have they didn't pay enough attention to back it up with like what you should have learned. There's and in 5 days, like I'm just this is where my old school comes in, because I'm like, you can't learn how to tattoo in 5 days. But what it does is it gives you this false sense of security without the sense of curiosity,
Right.
where you would start to learn from the challenges in the skin. That curiosity is kind of the thing that keeps you engaged to be like, well, what if I tried this?
Yeah.
What if I tried that?
Yeah.
That is the real learning. Or talking to somebody else. Have you tried this? How did it work for you?
Yeah.
But
that's PMU. I mean, there's no apprenticeships. I'm one of the only, I think there are a couple other states that require it, that do the 6 month. And the artists that are not like paid 6 month apprenticeships, like Amber, Michonne, Amy, right?
Yeah.
They don't pay. I run it old school tattoo style. I mean, they're with me, and they work their ass off for 5, 6, 7, 8 months, maybe a year. Depends on how dedicated, how much they're here. And then one day they get to do maybe a touch up on one of my brows. So, and that's the best way to learn. And I do think, and on the positive side, I always try to see the positive side of things. I do have some dear, dear friends. Jen Boyd's one that always comes to mind.
I keep hearing about her.
You'd love her. But she took a 3-day class, and because that's what's available.
Right.
That's what's available. You want to learn PMU, that's what's available. 3-day class or a 5 or 6-day class, that's what's available.
Yeah.
So there's not much option or opportunity for anything beyond like a week. But in that 3-day class is when she felt it deep in her bones. This is what she wanted to do. And she knew without a shadow of a doubt she needed to go find a mentor and get training. That's what she did. And she spent, like a year training. And she's an amazing artist. And I do think that does happen. There's a lot of people that do enter these classes because what else are they going to fucking do if they want to do PMU? There's not a lot of choices for anything better. And then the ones that take the craft seriously, they understand, okay, this 3-day class, it didn't really teach me what I needed to do, but what it did do was light a fire in my belly. I have goosebumps. I want to do this. I want to do this. And I'm going to dedicate however long it takes to be good at it.
Yeah.
And so we do have a lot of that in the industry, which I'm grateful for. So let's talk about your skins.
All
We
right.
don't have much time, but I wanna. How long have we been running?
47 minutes.
Oh, okay, good. So we're good. Usually I, we try to keep it about an hour. I don't want my listeners getting bored, or tuning us off before we're done.
Yeah.
But you've got, so your specialty is areolas and scars. You do camouflage work for the scars. And you've got these great skins that I have never seen before. Are they for sale yet?
Yeah.
They are for sale. So
Yeah.
where can one purchase them?
MetaArtProSkins.com, StaceyRay.com, AreolaRestorativeTattoo.com. Some of our products are available at Tatsoul, Kingpin, and Ever After Beauty Supply, but I don't think that they have these in yet because
Okay.
these ones I've just been saving for my students, just for people who come and take my training.
I'm going to hold them up. Yeah. I'm going to hold them up because some
That
people,
light is bright.
oh, it's too bright. What about this camera over here? It's too bright. Yeah. But too bad. But anyway,
So we put-
go ahead.
Thank you.
explain it.
Yeah. So we put the most common scars in them, like stretch marks, hypertrophic keloids, some acne scars, some of the puckering that you might see in like a dog ear on a breast reconstruction. We have burn and necrosis representation on here. So what I was finding was I started teaching areolas almost 10 years ago. I started doing them like 12 years ago. I lost my breasts over 10 years ago and got my own nipple tattoos botched by a nipple tattoo trainer who's still teaching those bad mistakes. It's we've got like some industry problems that I'd really like to bring solutions to. So this is my solution.
Yeah.
So what I was finding was a lot of people just didn't understand how to tattoo scar tissue. The same with the girl that botched my nipples. She just didn't understand scar tissue.
And breasts are full of scars.
It's all
It's
scar
all
tissue.
scar tissue.
So people tend to think, I think there's like a flawed logic here where people think that the scar is just the physical thing that they can see and everything else is healthy tissue. But in
Right.
a breast reconstruction, all of the skin has been separated from the underlying tissue. So it's all scar tissue.
Right.
So people only think about what's going on the outside without thinking about enough about what's going on the inside, which is a whole other thing.
Right.
So I was like, okay, so what would the solution? This is a serious problem, and a lot of women are getting bad tattoos because of this
Yeah.
problem. And I know what it's like to have bad nipple tattoos, and if my whole career focus is just to stop that from continuing, then that's a good career focus.
Right.
And so I kind of started thinking about like, what would it look like to have scar representation? And I sent it to my business partner, Sam. I was on a plane coming back from the UK. I did a training out there and I was like, how do I explain scar tissue to people who don't know scar tissue? Oh my God, this is a problem. And is there a solution? And I started thinking of solutions. And when I landed, I sent my little drawing to Sam and I was like, is this something that can be made? And she's like, yeah, I worked for 8 years in the film industry. I totally worked with silicone and I know how to make molds. I'm like, you know this? She's like, yeah, I could have you mold in 2 weeks. I was like,
Yeah.
what? Wait, what? And she made me I shouldn't say made me. She made the perfect thing. She made it way better than I would have ever thought. She knew exactly what I was bitching about because she heard me bitch about it before. And she knew exactly what I wanted to see happen. Something with that people could practice scars without harming clients because there's so much to know.
Yeah.
So we made a few different variations and this is kind of the
I think
newest
they're
one.
fantastic. You got it out today, and I'm like, oh my God, yeah. There's a keloid. You can just feel all the scar tissue, and I think it's fantastic.
The stretch marks are thinner,
Yeah.
so you could tear it if
Yeah.
you're not careful with it, just like in real life.
So they can find these on stacyray.com. And what do they sell? What do they sell for? Did they get one in a pack, two in a pack?
One in a pack. They're kind of expensive. We made them really high quality. They're $50, but
Yep.
they're a great practice piece. And they do take Sam made them really high quality. They do take a
You can
beating.
feel it. You can. It's thick, and you can feel the quality. Look. You can buy cheap latex practice pads.
Maybe you want to sell them.
And they're horrible. Yeah.
Did you guys see that?
I did see that. I saw that slip in there. But yeah, look, I'm always looking for great, innovative, new products that, our customers are going to love. So we'll definitely, I'd love to have those on the store.